When your cat hides more than usual, do you actually know what that means? It's easy to assume they just want space. Maybe they're being moody, tired, or a little antisocial. But behind that quiet withdrawal, there's something deeper that most people miss. It's one of the most vulnerable things your cat can do. And if you ignore it, which most owners do, you might miss the only warning they're able to give you before something serious happens. Let's start with what that hiding behavior really means. Number 1, it's not about mood, it's about survival. Have you ever noticed your cat suddenly choosing the darkest corner of the house, the back of a closet, or under the bed for hours? Most people think it's just a personality thing. They're being distant today. But here's what's actually happening. In the wild, a cat that shows weakness doesn't get comfort. It becomes a target. So instead of showing pain openly, cats hide it, instinctively, automatically. That quiet retreat you're seeing isn't them being moody. It's them protecting themselves the only way they know how. Think about that for a second. Your cat isn't trying to be distant from you. They're trying to stay safe from a world that in their instincts still feels dangerous. And here's where it gets even more important. If your cat ever starts hiding and also becomes quieter than usual, don't brush it off. We'll get to what that combination really means later, and it's something most owners wish they had understood sooner. Number 2, their brain is wired to hide pain from you. Have you ever wondered why cats rarely cry out when they're hurt? You'd expect some kind of obvious signal, a sound, a reaction. But most of the time, there's nothing. Here's what most people don't realize. A 2017 study from the University of Lincoln found that cats show pain through subtle behavioral changes, not vocal signals. Things like reduced movement, hiding, and withdrawal. But what that really means is this. Your cat is not built to ask for help. They're built to conceal their struggle. Animal cognition research also shows that cats evolved to minimize signs of weakness, even around those they trust, because their instincts don't fully separate you from the outside world. So when your cat hides instead of coming to you, it's not because they don't trust you, it's because their body doesn't know how to do anything else. And that's what makes this so easy to miss. Number 3, they stop marking their space, including you. Now think about your cat on a normal day. They rub against your legs, they sit in familiar spots, they move through the house like it belongs to them. That's not random, that's scent marking. Cats have scent glands on their face, paws, and body. When they rub against things, or you, they're leaving behind invisible signals that say, this is safe, this is mine. But here's what's actually happening when they start hiding. They stop doing it. They stop claiming space. They stop claiming you. Studies on domestic cats reveal that when a cat is in discomfort or pain, territorial behaviors decrease significantly, because conserving energy becomes more important than maintaining territory. Think about that for a second. They're not just hiding, they're withdrawing from their world. And what makes this even more meaningful is that your presence, something they usually mark and return to, becomes something they distance from, not out of rejection, but because they don't have the energy or stability to engage. And hey, if this makes sense to you, hit like and subscribe. It helps us reach more cat lovers who actually want to understand what their cat is really saying. Number 4, this comes from their wild ancestors. To really understand this behavior, you have to go back thousands of years. Before your cat had a home, a bed, or a name, they had one rule: hide weakness or don't survive. In the wild, an injured cat doesn't stay with the group. It separates, it finds a hidden place, it becomes invisible, because visibility equals danger. Here's what most people don't realize. Your cat still carries that instinct today. Behavioral scientists have observed that even domesticated cats will isolate themselves when they're unwell. choosing enclosed, quiet spaces that mimic natural hiding spots. And here's where it gets even more powerful. Your home becomes their version of the wild. That closet, that space under the bed, that quiet corner, it's not random, it's chosen. Because somewhere deep inside, your cat believes that disappearing is the safest thing they can do. Number 5, they don't do this around just anyone. Now here's something even more revealing. Have you ever noticed that your cat doesn't hide like this when guests are over? Or that they act differently depending on who's around? That's not coincidence. Cats are incredibly selective about where and when they show vulnerability. Here's what's actually happening. They choose environments and people where they feel safest to withdraw. Animal behavior studies show that cats are more likely to display subtle signs of distress in familiar environments rather than unfamiliar ones. Which means, if your cat is hiding in your home, in your presence, they're not rejecting you, they're trusting the environment you've created enough to let their guard down just a little. Think about that. Even in discomfort, they choose your space to disappear in. And that says more about your bond than most people realize. Number 6. This is what most owners never realize. Now here's the part that changes everything. When your cat hides more than usual, they're not just dealing with discomfort. They're managing it alone. Remember earlier when I said that hiding combined with quiet behavior is something you shouldn't ignore? This is what I was talking about. Because here's what most people don't realize. A 2020 review in feline behavioral medicine found that reduced interaction, increased hiding, and decreased vocalization are among the earliest indicators of chronic pain in cats. Not loud signs, quiet ones. So when your cat disappears more often, when they stop seeking you out, when the house feels just a little emptier, that might be the only signal you're going to get. Think about that for a second. Your cat isn't asking for help the way you expect. They're asking for help the only way they can, by becoming less visible. And here's the deeper truth. They're trusting that you'll notice. Number 7. When it gets worse, they go completely silent. This is where most owners get it wrong. They wait. They assume it will pass. They think, if it was serious, I'd know. But here's what's actually happening. As discomfort increases, cats don't become more obvious. They become quieter, more withdrawn, more hidden. Behavioral studies show that severe pain in cats is often associated with near-total inactivity and isolation. No dramatic signals, just absence. So the next time your cat starts hiding more than usual, pay attention to the pattern. Are they eating less, moving less, interacting less? Because if those signs are there, even subtly, don't ignore it. Act early, because by the time it becomes obvious, they've already been struggling for a while. So when your cat hides more than usual, do you actually know what that means? It's not just them wanting space. It's not just a mood. It's a survival instinct, quietly signaling that something isn't right. That hiding behavior, something so easy to overlook, is actually one of the clearest messages your cat can give you without making a sound. That's not distance, that's vulnerability. And that silence, it was never empty. It was your cat trying to tell you something in the only way they know how. And it shouldn't be small to you either.